on my own. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Just stare 'cause the flames won't burn us.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm doing What If Deku Was Groot, Part 1. I'm very sorry that I haven't been posting. It's just, we've been having friends over, and, it's summer, so I've been having friends over a lot. And my trainer has been coming, and I've been working out a lot, so, after the workouts, I'd be extremely tired, and, I'd want to post, but I just can't because I'm so tired. To you guys, it probably just sounds like excuses, but I want to make it up to you guys, so I will be trying to make at least 3 videos today. If not, there will at least be 2 videos. This one and one other. Don't know what that one other will be, but I'll try and get it out. So yeah, I'm going to be trying to mess around with the premieres a little bit. So if everything goes on schedule, this video should be around 28 minutes long, at the most 30 minutes, because I want to premiere this. So if you guys are watching this, if this does get premiered, you guys should be watching this live. Well, live. It isn't really live, but you guys will have a live chat and all that. So if you guys are watching this premiered, I hope you guys do enjoy the video. And also, if you guys don't get to watch this premiered, I'm very sorry about that. I wish you could have made it, but so yeah. If you guys like the video, make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe. And while you're at it, United States of, smash the bell icon to be notified when I post a new video. Because if you have that bell icon rung, then you guys will not miss out on a new video. Or a premiered video, like this one should be. So yeah, no more lollygagging around. Let's get into this. So, Inko gives birth, and it's a tree-looking thing. The doctors are like, is this its quirk? What is this thing? And Deku, opens his eyes, and immediately a bunch of fireflies start sprouting from his hand. And Deku's, trying to catch the fireflies, and then one of his, limbs, attacks one of the doctors, and, the limb, starts and goes around his neck, and he's like, ah, ah. And, Deku's still trying to catch the fireflies, and the doctor's like, yeah, I can't breathe. Can someone help me? Ah. And then one of the nurses goes out and gets the fire axe, and they cut the limb off. And then immediately, Deku screams out in pain and starts crying. And then Deku stops crying, because Deku realized it didn't hurt that much. It really didn't hurt that much. And, Deku, goes back to trying to catch the fireflies, and the doctors are like, what is this thing? Is this thing human? And they're trying to see if it's a boy or a girl, but they can't tell. And then Inko asks to hold him. Or hold it, because they don't know if it's a boy or a girl. So, she's holding Deku, and Deku just kind of looks up at her and says, I am Groot. And Inko's like, he already said his first words? And the doctors are like, what? How did he already say his first words? Is this thing more intelligent than us? And then, like, they're just kind of shocked. And then the doctor that was about to get strangled to death says, it's a demon. Burn it. We should burn it. And Inko gasps at that. And then Deku realizes, like, kind of noticing his mom's shift in behavior, looks at the doctor as he's, like, kind of, like he's screaming to burn Deku. And Deku is, like, angered by this, and he's like, ah! And he, like, kind of, like, falls out of his mom's hands, and he's like, ah! Like, and he gets up on one knee, and he gets up on the other, and he's like, I am Groot. And he jumps up onto the doctor's face, and the doctor's like, ah, get it off me, get it off me, get it off. And he slams his head into the wall, and he falls down, passed out. And Deku's just kind of punching him. It doesn't really, because Baby Groot's punches obviously don't hurt anyone. But, you know, he can kill people, but he's not as strong. So he's just kind of punching him, and the doctor grabs him, and he's like, and then he tells Inko to control her son, and he gives Deku back to Inko, and Inko's like, no, we do not attack people. And Deku's just kind of starts to sob a little bit because he knows that he did something wrong, and goes like, it's okay. So, now we're going to fast forward of at least 4 years. And, you know, Deku has been traveling out to the forest a lot. So now he's teenage Groot. Because I'm pretty sure Groot grows a lot faster than humans do. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure he grows faster than humans do. So, by 4 years old, he's already technically a teenager. So he's just kind of walking around in the forest. Actually, yeah, he's just kind of walking around in the forest, just kind of testing out his abilities. Because he hasn't really learned how to fight with them yet. It was really just an impulse. Like, when he was born, you know, it was just an impulse. Like, he was just kind of using all of his abilities. Like, he didn't know he was using them till, he didn't really use any of his abilities when attacking the doctor, other than when he just about strangled the doctor. So, he doesn't really know how to fight yet, other than, you know, punching. That's kind of it. And the fireflies. He knows how to do the fireflies. So, he finds a good spot in the middle of the forest, and he just lays down and starts sprouting out fireflies. And he just loves to watch the fireflies just kind of fly around him. He just kind of looks up, stares at the sky, as fireflies, you know, just kind of fly around him. He finds it relaxing. So, it's time for the kids to get their quirks. So he goes to school, and he's just about to be dropped off, and he's like, I am Groot. And Inko has learned how to communicate with him. Like, she knows what he's saying. And Inko's like, do not say that. All the other kids are about to get their quirks. And Deku's like, I am Groot. And Inko's like, I know you're technically older than them, but just because you yourself grow faster than them doesn't mean that you're older than them. And Deku's like, I am Groot. And Inko's like, oh, gosh, how are you already in the teenage years? I hope to have some more fun with my little boy, but now you're already a teenager. Just go inside. I'll be back to pick you up when it's time. And Deku's like, I am Groot. And he gets out of the car and he starts walking to the class. And he sits down and everyone's explaining their quirks. And then Deku walks up and he's like, I am Groot. And everyone's like wondering, what did he say? And then Deku says, I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot. And then he sprouts out a bunch of fireflies. And Bakugo's like, boo, your quirk stinks. And Deku, knowing what he said, looks at Bakugo and says, I am Groot. And Bakugo's like, you can't even talk. Are you still a toddler? And all the other kids start laughing alongside Bakugo. And then Bakugo says, my quirk is so much better than all of yours. I'm going to be the greatest hero to ever exist. Way better than All Might. And then Deku gets really offended by this because he loves All Might. Like, he's a bigger fanboy than he was in original continuity. So, Deku's like, I am Groot. And Bakugo's like, what'd you say? I can't hear you. Would you like to say that again? And then Deku says, I am Groot. And then Bakugo says, what? What, little toddler? Are you still speaking gibberish? You can't even talk like the rest of us. So don't even try to fight with me. Because not only is your quirk weak, but you can't even talk. How are you supposed to save people if no one knows what you're saying? And how are fireflies supposed to help you in a fight? You can't beat up villains or save people if your quirk is fireflies. And then, Deku starts to cry by this because, he's never had someone, be this mean. And, back then he was such good friends with Bakugo. But now Bakugo's just a total jerk. So Deku runs out of the class and heads to the forest he normally goes to. So maybe 2 years pass by. Actually, 3 years. So if he was 4, that would be 5, 6, 7. Yeah. 7, actually 4 years. I'm gonna say it's been 4 years. Actually, 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. So one day, like every single day, Bakugo has been bullying him. Every single day he would bully him about how he still can't talk, how his quirk's trash, and all of that. So he's constantly going out to the forest to calm his nerves. So one day, Bakugo follows him out to the forest, and Bakugo's like, is this where you go, Firefly? And Deku is like scared because now they're not in school. The teachers can't protect him. I mean, yeah, he's bigger than Bakugo, but what good will that do if his quirk is fireflies? And Deku, has been training a little bit in martial arts. Just a little bit, because I don't know if Groot would be, very fast. So, just a tiny bit. So Deku puts his arms up, ready to fight. And Bakugo's like, you think you can fight, Twig? And Deku goes in to punch Bakugo, but Bakugo blows up Deku's hand. Deku screams in pain. And then Bakugo's like, it looks like that's the only human thing you can do is scream. You can't talk, your quirk's useless, you're a tree, but the only thing human about you is that you can scream. And then he just starts blowing Deku up, like he's just blowing off pieces of Deku, he blew off Deku's arm, he blew off Deku's leg, and then Deku falls up against a tree with his other hand trying to keep his face safe, Bakugo puts his hand on Deku's chest and says, "Goodbye. Looks like I'm chopping you down," and blows a hole in Deku's chest. And then Deku passes out. Inko, being really worried about Deku, calls the police to the forest where Deku normally is. And when they find Deku, they are horrified at how dismembered Deku is. He no longer has an arm, he no longer has a leg, and there's a giant hole in his chest. Immediately, they call in a airlift to get him out of the forest and to a hospital as quick as possible. And then they immediately start looking for who did this. So they're checking security cameras to see if anyone followed him into the forest, trying to see who, went into the forest, at that time, and all that. So the airlift finally arrives, and they put Deku on the stretcher, and it immediately heads straight towards the hospital. And the police immediately notify Inko about how badly injured Deku was. And Inko, she gets in her car and she rushes to the hospital. Literally, she got pulled over twice trying to get to the hospital. And, she had a police escort because if someone was out to kill Deku, then they'll likely try and kill Inko. So she had a police escort on the way there. Because the two officers that pulled her over decided to give her an escort because of the story. So they gave her an escort to the hospital, and she gets into the room, and Inko is petrified as she just looks at her baby boy and how badly injured he is. She falls on her knees and starts to cry. The detective tells Inko that she has to leave the room because they're questioning Deku right now. So one of the officers helps her back up on her legs, and she just kind of looks back at Deku as she starts to bawl her eyes out. I mean, any mother would do that if they saw their only child in such horrible condition. So, the detective asks, "Who did this?" And Deku says, "I am Groot." And the detective is trying to get him to talk, but all Deku can say is, "I'm Groot." So, after this, Deku asks his mom, because Inko can communicate with him, to get her scientist friends to make him a device so he can communicate. So, at that point, they get to work. And when Deku is maybe 13, he is gifted a device that allows him to speak. So, Deku turns it on, and he says, "Mom?" Inko starts bawling her eyes out, and she says, "Yes, I'm here, baby." And she hugs him. And then the doctors are like, "It works! It works!" And then, the doctors start asking him some questions. And then they call in the detective that's, been working on the case. Because ever since, that happened, they've been trying to figure out who did this to him. Actually, never mind. But like I was saying, the guy starts asking him some questions. Some easy, simple questions. And, after that, Deku, goes to school, and Bakugo's like, hi there, baby. You can't talk, can you? Oh, wait, no, you... And then Deku says, hi there, Kachan. How are you doing? Bakugo literally falls on his back, like he falls flat on his butt as soon as he hears it. And he's, like, petrified, like, how are you able to talk? All these years, and you've only said, I am Groot, blah, blah, blah. And now you can talk? Nuh-uh. And then, Bakugo remembers what he did to him, and he's like, you even healed up? You've been in a wheelchair ever since, and now you're walking? You shouldn't be able to walk. Your leg, your arm, everything should be gone. Everything should be missing. And Deku says, yeah. And he walks through the door. Bakugo's like, what? Impossible. Did he get a new quirk? This is impossible. He shouldn't have a quirk. So then, at the end of the class, the teacher says, all right, it's time to decide what you guys are going to do in the future. And then he throws the papers in the air and says, who cares? I know you all want to be heroes. Everyone starts using their quirks. And then Deku releases a bunch of fireflies into the room. Everyone's like, ooh, pretty. And then, the teacher says, oh, Bakugo, you signed up for UA. Wow, that's a pretty good school. And then the teacher's like, he has the grades to get in. But all he has to do is just pass that test. And I think he has the quirk to do it. And then he looks at the other page and he's like, Deku, you signed up for UA? I know I'm supposed to be supportive because I'm your teacher, but kid, your quirk isn't good enough to get you in there. And you can't even talk. And then Deku says, I can talk. And I've learned a couple more abilities. I learned that I have regeneration. And I can do this. And he sticks his hand in the air. And, a bunch of tentacles, like wooden tentacles, come out. And, the teacher's like, wow, that's just like Canoe Wood's ability. That new hero. And then he's like, alright. Yeah, that isn't that bad. Alright. I won't judge you. But I must ask, when did you learn how to talk? And then Deku points to a device on his neck, and he says, this is what's allowing me to talk. And then he says directly to Kachan, or to Bakugo, don't worry, if you break this one, we still have almost 100 more. Maybe even more. Because they're going to mass produce this thing for people that, are mute, so they can talk. And Bakugo's like, Argh! And he blows up his desk. The teacher leaves the room, and everyone's, getting ready to leave. And then Bakugo goes in to try and punch Deku, but Deku uses his, arms to, his tentacles to wrap Bakugo up. And then Deku uses his other tentacles to open up the window. And he sticks Bakugo outside the window, and Bakugo's like, no, don't drop me, please, don't drop me. And then Deku says, maybe you'll be reincarnated with a better quirk. And Bakugo's like, please don't do it. And then all the students are like, Deku, that's... And then Deku pulls him back inside, and he's like, you cry, baby. And then everyone else, one of the guys who was recording it starts to laugh, and then everyone else starts to laugh at Bakugo. Because he literally has mucus coming out of his nose. And he's like, that's not funny, guys. So, Deku's on his way home, and the sludge villain attacks him. And Deku's like, what? And then because, Groot isn't, I wouldn't say is fast. You know, he's jogging speed, but he isn't, sprinting speed. So he tries to get out of the way, but the sludge villain locks onto him. And Deku's like, oh no, what am I gonna do? And he's trying to break free, like he tries to, do everything he can, and then he uses his fireflies, and the sludge villain's like, what is this? What kind of quirk is this? And then he's like, I don't want a person who's not only super slow, but has a weak quirk to be my host. So he gets off of Deku, but then Deku latches back onto the sludge villain, and the sludge villain's like, what are you doing, kid? And then the sludge villain looks up in the air and he sees, help me, made with fireflies. And he's like, what? No, let me go! And then All Might arrives. And as All Might always does, All Might says, I am here! And then All Might sees Deku trying to keep the sludge villain from going anywhere. And then All Might says, you must have been the person who put the fireflies in the sky. That is quite useful, kid. And then All Might says, I'll take it from here. So Deku releases his hold on the sludge villain, and the sludge villain's like, no, get me back in the pipe. And then All Might says, Detroit, smash! And he punches the sludge villain, knocking the sludge villain out. So All Might puts the sludge villain in a container and says, well, that's one problem solved. And then Deku says, can you sign my... And then he looks down and he sees that his notebook is already signed. And then and then All Might's like, I have to go. And then Deku says, hold on, one more thing, please. And then All Might says, what is it? And Deku says, can I be a hero even with this quirk? And All Might says, yeah, I'm sure you could be a great search and rescue hero. And he jumps off. And Deku goes home happy. So All Might does not lose the sludge villain. And, yeah. I think that's where I'm going to leave this episode off. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe. And while you're at it, United States of, smash the bell icon to be notified when I post a new video. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you all next time. Peace out.